I have been told that today you would like to discuss something called mind management. And when I entered here, I saw most of the people on computers, and what are they doing? They're studying so many, what do you call it, scans, those radiology pictures, whether you, I'm not a technical guy, right? So MRI or scans, and you're looking at these images. What is the image? Means mainly of the brain, right? No? All part of the body. Okay. So you guys are all experts, right? You have got technology to get into the subject of radiology. So you're seeing every cell of the body, am I right? So how many of you have seen the mind?
You cannot see.
No. Why you're going radiology, you're going deep into the body, you're seeing, zooming into scans. Huh? How many of you have actually seen the mind? How many of you have seen the mind? Anybody?
No.
No. Come on. Huh?
We have seen brain, not
mind. Brain you have seen. But in the brain, have you seen the mind? No. Why? That means you're saying there is no mind? That means we are all mindless. We have mind or we don't have mind?
We have mind. It is one of the faculties of the soul.
Soul?
One of the faculties of soul.
Soul? Which soul? Soul, I know about the soul which is in the bottom of my foot. So today, because you have called me here to talk about mind management, if you have called me to talk about mind management, I have written dozens of books on subject of life, mind, happiness, success. But people don't understand what is the mind. If you don't understand what is the mind, then how can you manage the mind? Correct? If you want to do mind management, you must first know what is the mind. So anybody can tell me what is the mind? Is it this? Is it this? What is this? Nose. What is this? Ears. What is this? And inside the head, what do we have? Brain. But where is the mind?
Imagine.
Huh?
Imagine.
Imagine. You imagine the mind?
Imagination.
Imagination. So my dear friends, if you want to really learn how to manage the mind, you must first get to the basics. So today, you are in the medical field, you know, the mind medicine is one of the biggest industry in the world, correct? What do you call it? Psychiatry. Psychiatry is one of the biggest industries in the medical field. But the problem is this: people don't know what is the mind. If you ask me what is the mind, it's very simple. The mind is a bundle of thoughts. The mind is a bundle of thoughts. So when there are thoughts, there is mind. What about that state when there are no thoughts? When there are no thoughts, there is no mind. The mind appears to be. What does the mind do? Anybody? Can you tell me what does the mind do? What does the mind do? What do the eyes do? I see. What does the nose do? Smell. What do the ears do? Hear. What does the mind do? Correct. Why is it so difficult? The mind thinks. Therefore, when you have the mind, it thinks. And if you want to manage the mind, you have to manage the thinking. Correct? What does the mind think? It thinks what type of thoughts? Positive thoughts, negative thoughts, correct? What is fear? Have you heard of the word fear? What is fear? You know the meaning of fear? I asked somebody, what is fear? You know what they said? Fear is COVID. What is fear? Fear is COVID. What do you mean by fear is COVID? 2.5 years, the entire world came to a stop. For 2.5 years, the entire world came to a stop because of fear. F-E-A-R. You know the meaning of fear? False expectation appearing real. Actually, COVID doesn't kill. It is fear that kills. You know what Mahatma Gandhi said? Mahatma Gandhi said more people die out of the disease. More people die out of the fear of the disease than of the disease itself. What did Mahatma Gandhi say? More people die out of fear of the disease than of the disease itself. Fear is dangerous. And who creates fear? Mind. Mind does not only create fear, it creates worry, it creates stress, it creates anxiety, it creates depression, it gives you thoughts of suicide. And that will appear in the brain. That will appear, the functioning of the mind will appear in the brain. But the mind you cannot find. Where is the mind? You cannot find. Because the mind is subtle. Soul will come later. Soul is a different subject. If you talk about soul, then people here will be completely lost. Because the soul is something different. Okay, you're familiar with the computer? Computer? How does the computer work? What is the main part of the computer? Huh?
Keyboard.
Monitor, keyboard, what do you call, what is all these? Monitor, keyboard, what is this called?
Parts of computer.
Hardware, correct. One part of the computer is called hardware. Another part of the computer is called? For the computer to work, what do we need? Hardware? Correct? Without this, without hardware the computer can work? No. Without hardware can computer work? Without software? No. Without hardware? Correct? So for the computer to work, what do we need? Hardware? Wrong. If there's no power supply? See, somebody's mind is working. This is not called mind, this is called intelligence, the intellect. For a computer to work, you need hardware, you need software, you need power supply. The human computer has got hardware. What's all this? Hardware. It has got software. What is software? Mind, intelligence, memory, and ego. It has got hardware, it has got software, and it has got power supply. What is the power supply? Come on, you've not seen the battery inside? Hey, you're doing radiology, you don't see the scan, the battery inside, not seen? Power bank, power bank. Have you seen the wire going out from the body? Have you seen? See, she has seen. She's. Power bank is there, no? Battery is there, no? No. Heart. Heart is power supply?
Soul, life, soul, life, soul.
Correct. There is a power. That power is what he called soul. You know what is the meaning of soul? So what is the spelling of soul, sir?
S-O-U-L.
S-O-U-L, not S-O-L-E. S-O-U-L means spark of unique life. Soul means spark of unique life. So, is your soul and your soul same or separate? Separate? Sure, no? Yeah, because if your soul goes, she'll still be alive. Correct, no? So, if you want to do mind management, you should understand the human computer. If you want to understand mind management, you must understand hardware, software, power supply of the human computer. And today you want to know about mind. The mind you cannot find, but the mind is the biggest enemy. We think that the mind is our best friend. We think the mind is king, but the mind is the cause of all our suffering. It is the mind that creates fear, worry, stress, anxiety. I told you. How do you manage the mind? Can anybody tell me how do you manage the mind? Who can tell me? How do you manage the mind? You can't see the mind. You can't find the mind. How do you manage the mind?
By controlling our thoughts.
Good. How do you control your thoughts?
Positive thinking.
How do you have positive thinking?
Keep it as busy.
Huh?
Situation. Depend on situation.
Correct. So suppose now, the guy next to you, he just gives you one slap. Huh? Happened, is it? She's saying it just happened. What do you do if something like that happens? What happens? Okay, he doesn't do that. He just is angry at you. Nobody's seeing. He just puts his leg on your foot and he stands on your foot like that. Nobody can, you shout. And everybody looks at you as a crazy girl. Why is she shouting? You didn't, you only reacted to him. He stamped your foot. But how do you manage thoughts?
Meditation. Meditation.
Meditation. What is the meaning of meditation?
Is a concept.
You know the meaning of meditation? You are medical professionals, right? Many of you. Do you know the meaning of BMR? Body's metabolic rate. You know the BMR meaning? What is BMR? BMR means that if I am walking, I have a BMR, correct? And now, instead of walking, I start running. What happens to my BMR? What happens to my body metabolic rate? It goes up. I start burning more calories. Correct? Just like there is BMR, the body's metabolic rate, there is the MTR. Have you heard of MTR? Have you heard of MTR? Not, MTR means Mawali tiffin room. Dosa, did you hear? Mawali tiffin dosa, did you hear? So, MTR means mental thought rate. Mental thought rate. How many thoughts the mind thinks?
Per minute, anywhere between 25 to 45.
Amazing. You're a doctor or a scientist? Who told you? Which division, sir, you're from?
No, I'm HR.
HR. See, he knows. He knows how people are thinking. He knows. HR means he knows how many thoughts. You're right. But those people are little calm. The mind can think one new thought every second. This can be up to 50 thoughts a minute. This can be 50,000 thoughts a day. So you need mind management or no? Because if you have got 50,000 thoughts a day, how are you going to manage the mind? As I'm talking to you now, you're sitting like this, and one thought is coming. Dishum. This is what this guy did. Why he's wearing white clothes? What is he going to talk about? How long going to talk? What about tea, coffee? There is sandwich. What about samosa? The mind is going on thinking this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. Right or wrong? Yes. Right. Absolutely right, because this is the truth. How do you manage the mind? The mind, ಕನ್ನಡ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಗೊತ್ತಾ?
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಕನ್ನಡದವರೇ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ.
The mind is koti. Koti means monkey. Good. The mind is a monkey. You know what happens to the monkey? Attack. Then going on jumping. Correct? How do you spell monkey? M-O. If you want to manage the mind, you have to manage the monkey, you have to cut the tail. What is the tail? E-Y. If you cut the tail, what's left? Monk. Shh. Huh? What is that? I don't know. What is that?
Old book.
Oh, see, now you see, that is the koti. When I'm saying monk, immediately his mind is telling old monk. Huh? See, so this is the, now you saw the monkey, just now you saw the monkey in action. Correct? Huh? So, when you have the mind, it's a monkey. You cut the tail, EY. What is EY? Ever yelling, ever yearning. Ever yelling means mind is always making noise. Mind is always saying, idu beku, adu beku, idu beku, adu beku. I want this, 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 I want this. How can you become quiet? Right, wrong? Right, wrong? All the time the mind is thinking. And the worst is what? Few years back, the worst thing was the TV. Because the TV will show all new soap, new shampoo, new TV, new mobile phone, new laptop. Now the worst, it's all on the mobile phone. Correct? All the time ads are coming. Latest, latest, new, this one. 40% discount, 60% discount. My dear friends, if you want to manage the mind, you have to manage the monkey. The monkey is yelling. It's yearning. You cut the tail, you make the monkey still. When you still the mind, you kill the mind. How do you kill the mind? If you want to kill the mind, you must still the mind. Because that is the only way. Because you can't find the mind. There was one king. The king went to a saint. And he told the saint, I have a lot of problem. Lot of stress, worry, anxiety, fear in my mind. So the Swami told him, Nale, tomorrow morning, come at 6 o'clock. I will take out all the problem from your mind. The next day, when the Swami came, the king came, Swami asked the king, Sir, have you brought your mind? The king thought the Swami is mad. Swami, how can I come here without mind, Swami? Can you go somewhere without your mind? Can you leave your mind in your bathroom and you go? Can you? No. Cannot, no. Wherever you go, mind goes with you. So the king went to the Swami. The Swami told the king, I will take out all your worries, stress, problem, everything. You just keep the mind ready. You keep the mind on the table. You take out the mind. I will take out all the problem from your mind. The king started thinking how to take out the mind and keep on the table. Can he do it? After 1 hour, the Swami came. Swami asked, where is the mind? I'll remove all the stress, worry, anxiety. King said, I can't find the mind. How to give the mind? The Swami said, if there is no mind, then why you say your mind is full of worry and stress and anxiety? There is no mind. If there is no mind and there is no worry, stress, anxiety in the mind, then what is causing worry, stress, anxiety? What is causing worry, stress, anxiety if it's not in the mind? Then what is causing? Thoughts, correct. Can you stop thinking? No? Can you stop talking? Can you stop talking? Can you stop eating? You can.
For a time.
Can you stop singing? We can stop talking, walking, singing, eating. We can also stop thinking if we make it a habit. And when you stop thinking, what happens? When there are no thoughts? When there are no thoughts, then there is no mind. You have managed the mind. Have you heard about a state of thoughtlessness? Who has heard about the state of thought? I brought something for you today. I brought a knife. You brought for everybody a knife? What you must do is, you must catch yourself and you must do I'm not killing him. This knife is... See what's written on the... Read.
To kill the mind, still the mind.
To kill the mind, still the mind. Kill the mind. Whenever your mind is going here and there, what you do? Take this knife and still the mind. Kill the mind. For you. And then all of you can take... can take it from the counter when you leave. My job is to tell people how to still the mind. How to kill the mind. That state is called a state of consciousness. You know the meaning of consciousness? In your field, in medical field, what's the meaning of consciousness?
Stay awake.
No, in medical field. Body, either somebody is conscious or subconscious or unconscious, correct? When you are conscious, what you are doing?
Now you're sitting.
Sitting. When you are subconscious, what happens?
I don't know anything.
You are sleeping.
Sleeping.
But the mind is sleeping?
No, sir.
What's the mind doing?
It's still running.
What's it doing when you are sleeping?
It's
Huh? Dreaming. Correct. Correct. The dreams. So your body is sleeping and the mind, no. I am going to London. Nobody wants to become Prime Minister. Rishi Sunak is also not wanting to be Prime Minister. Narayan Murthy told him, beda, don't be Prime Minister. Now I am going to be the next Prime Minister of Britain. Huh? Then you get up and the person having this dream is the man giving you tea coffee every day. Krishnamurthy, what's his name? Krishnappa. So Krishnappa wakes up from his sleep saying, Krishnappa, next Prime Minister of Britain. Krishnappa, next Prime Minister of Britain. And then in his house, the people tell him, hey, uchak bidya. You become mad or what? Krishnappa, next Prime Minister. That is not him, that is his mind. His mind is dreaming, correct? Na? In dream, you can dream any dream, na? Correct? Either you can dream you're in a plane and the plane is going. You have had dream like that? Plane is going to crash. Have you had dream? She's agreeing. Yes, I had dream like that. I have not had your dream. You have had your dream. It is your mind, not my mind. My mind also has had dream like that. My dear friends, today you are called me here to speak a little bit on mind management. Understand the basic principles. There is no mind. The mind is a bundle of thoughts. If you want to control your mind, you have to control your thoughts. To control your thoughts, you have to be in a state of thoughtlessness. The state of thoughtlessness is known as a state of consciousness. There are only two possibilities. What's this? Mind. I carry this in my pocket, a coin. Either you can be in a state of mind or you can be in a state of consciousness. So you have got, anytime you are in the mind state, you turn the coin to consciousness. In a state of consciousness, there should be no thoughts. Shh. You cut the monkey's tail, you make the monkey into a monk. You still the mind, you kill the mind. It is possible to remove fear, worry, stress, anxiety, depression, suicide thoughts. It's possible if you are able to kill the mind. If you don't kill the mind will kill you. If you don't kill the mind will kill you. You decide. So you can ask me any questions. I don't know how much time you want me to speak more. This morning I was listening to a little story. A little child. The child tells the mother, Mommy, I want a new school bag. So the mother bought school bag. No, not this school bag. I want Mickey Mouse. Now the child is crazy about Mickey Mouse. Have you seen children being crazy about Mickey Mouse? I want Mickey Mouse shoe, I want Mickey Mouse shirt, I want Mickey Mouse pencil, I want Mickey Mouse pencil box, I want Mickey Mouse scale. And if it's a girl, sometimes the girl says, Barbie, Beku, Barbie, Barbie, all Barbie. If you bring some other doll, what? The small girl will take the doll and throw it like this. It's not Barbie, I want Barbie doll. Have you seen this case or have you not seen?
2 years old.
2 years also. See, he's even 2-year-old. But what can you do? What can you do to a child? The child is acting out of the mind because there's so much publicity in the TV, there's so much publicity in the internet that the child is crazy. Brainwashed, as they call it. Brainwashed. Now, what's the latest Japanese character? You know, anime. You've seen the new Japanese character? Anime comes from the word animation. Correct? All anime, anime, anime. So many anime characters. But my dear friends, do you know the mind is very dangerous? You know that? Okay. Who decides when you want to do something? Who decides? The body. Suppose you want to kick somebody. The body, the leg will kick. But who gives the message to the leg to kick? The mind. Correct? So the mind is always thinking thoughts. The point is, how should you make the right decision? Who makes the right decision? Is it the mind?
Thoughts.
So is it thoughts making the right decision?
Intellect.
Huh?
Intellect.
Correct. Intellect. What is the difference, sir, between mind and intellect?
Mind just thinks intellect is a power of discrimination between.
Excellent. You seem to have read some very good books. Because he's saying so, the mind will create thoughts, but the intellect will discriminate. Right? Which is wrong, right. Black, white. The intellect will discriminate. So my point to you is this. There was one man, he was riding a horse. Horse, you know, ghoda. This man was going, ghoda, 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 ghoda. Somebody stopped. Sir, 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 where you are going, sir? He tells, I don't know, ask the horse. He says, I don't know, ask the horse. Is it right? Should it be like that? Man is riding the horse. Who should know where he is going? Man or horse? Man should know. But when the mind is in command, then you are not the boss. The mind is riding your horse. Are you the boss or is your mind riding the horse? When your mind is in command, my dear friends, the little child wanting Mickey Mouse, the little girl wanting Barbie, who is in command? The mind. This morning I read another story of there was a princess. There was a prince. The princess was the eldest daughter of a very big king, and she was supposed to become the queen. The princess had all the jewelry, the gold, the wealth, the diamonds, expensive gems, crystals, everything she had. She was going to become the queen. All the money, the palaces. The king was looking for a match for this lady, the princess who will become the queen. Just when she was going to become the queen, in the palace from the back door, there came one rat. You know rat? Rat gotala? The princess started talking to the rat. And the princess fell in love with the rat. The princess fell in love with the rat. So the princess, every day night the rat will come and the rat will tell the princess, oh, you are my darling. You are the most beautiful princess in the world. I will take you to the rat kingdom and I will make you the queen of the rats. And the princess became caught by her mind. So one day she ran away with the rat. She ran away with the rat and went into her rat hole. And when she went into the rat hole, she got trapped. Because the rat is living in a small hole. And she went into the rat hole. And she didn't come back. And the king made the second daughter, the princess, the queen. Now what is this trying to tell us, this story? The story tells us when we lose our mind, when we lose our life to the power of the mind, and we run behind, suppose a man is running behind money. Suppose a man is running behind money, running behind money, running behind money. He loses all his money because he loses all his life. In the end, he is left with so much money, but there's no life. His glass of life became empty. His glass of money became full, but he loses all the money because he has no life. So this story, if you're a small child and you're crazy about Mickey Mouse, is okay. But we adults behave like helpless children because of the mind. How many of you know a boy of 20 or 22 or 23 or a girl who's so crazy about somebody, they just go and marry blindly and then they cry for the rest of their life? How many of you know the story? I should tell, or there are many stories? My story only is one. We all have this problem. We run behind something because of the mind, and then happiness we cannot find. Because the mind becomes the boss, the mind is riding the horse. The mind is shooting 50 thoughts a minute. The mind does not give us peace. It doesn't let us be peaceful. You know, many people are finding peace. Oh, I want peace of mind. Have you heard this? I want peace of mind. Have you heard? Peace you cannot find. Peace you cannot find. It is within. Just still the mind. Peace you cannot find. It is within. Just still the mind. Because when in thought you are caught, when in thought you are caught, you will be miserable. You have to be free from the mind. Then only peace and joy you will find. So my dear friends, I can tell you many things. Many more things about the mind. I have written so many books on the mind. I have written 60 books. I have written totally 60 books on happiness, on life, on enlightenment, nirvana, moksha, detachment, suffering, problems, happiness, peace. I can tell you any subject on this. I can speak for 1 hour on each of these subjects. But today, I think I've spoken for 30, 40, 45 minutes. Tell me, I can stop now and you'd like to have question answers, or you would like to speak a little bit more on the mind? See, you all are talking about mind management, but we don't know anything about the mind. Sir, mind. He's asking mind. No, afterwards you go and search. Where is mind? Is it here? Is it here? Look inside, deep inside. Maybe it's inside. It's inside the nose. Or like the doctor says, is the mind is there? No. There is no mind. Mind you cannot find. The mind is a bundle of thoughts. If you want to manage the mind, you have to find peace. You have to still the mind, kill the mind. You have to reach that state. I told you the state is called consciousness. A state of consciousness is a state of thoughtlessness. That's why somebody said meditation. Meditation is you slow down the MTR, mental thought rate, from 50 thoughts a minute to 40 thoughts, 30 thoughts, 20 thoughts. You engage the mind. When you were in school, remember we used to take a paper and we used to take a magnifying glass and we used to do something. What happened? The paper will burn. But you remove the magnifying glass and keep under the sun?
No.
It won't burn. What is the magnifying glass doing?
They'll call for our
What is it doing?
sunlight will catch.
It is making the sun's rays focus. It's a convex glass. The convex glass is making the rays focus on that point and it burns. You have to engage the mind. You have to engage your mind to be silent. Then you can activate the intellect. The intellect comes alive only in a state of consciousness. You know consciousness? Consciousness is that state. It's called Sat Chit Anand. हिंदी मालूम है? कितने लोग को हिंदी मालूम है? हाँ, कन्नड़ा जास्ती गोत्ता, हिंदी गोत्ता, but Hindi also. How many people don't know Hindi? In mind management, I have written 1350 songs. How many songs I have written? 1350 songs. And earlier I used to croak. Now little bit I sing. What is the meaning of peace in Hindi? Shanti. So, somebody asked me how to get Shanti. I say, Shanti se mila kya hasi anand, sat ke chit mein mila सच्चिदानंद शांति से मिला क्या हसी आनंद सत्य के चित्त में मिला सच्चिदानंद शांति से मिला मन मीन्स मन बड़ा है चोर चैन चुराता है डर और चिंता में हमें डुबाता है मन बड़ा है चोर मीन्स मन बड़ा है चोर चैन चुराता है डर और चिंता में हमें डुबाता है मन को है मारना दुश्मन बड़ा है वो मन को जो मारे मुक्ति वो पाता शांति से मिला मीन्स विथ पीस क्या हसी आनंद ब्लिस सत्य के चित्त में मिला when you have the consciousness of the truth सच्चिदानंद शांति से मिला. So you have to decide. You have to decide you want Shanti, you want peace. Because remember one thing, you may have all the happiness in the world. There was a multi-millionaire. He was the happiest man in the world. He was having a big celebration he was buying a new private jet. And he was having a big launch of the private jet. Just when the launch was going to take place, he got a message. Your son died in a car accident. Did he do a launch of the private jet? Everything stopped. He lost his peace of mind. When you lose your peace, you lose your happiness. How can you learn? And today your topic I must appreciate whoever selected the topic for today's discussion. Mind management. Mind management, nobody taught us in school. That's why we are all nothing better than a fool. Mind management, nobody taught us in school. That's why we remain a fool. You can get knowledge in every college, but knowledge is not realization. You must have realization of the truth. You must have realization of the truth. Sir, when is your birthday, sir?
Just last 2 days ago.
2 days. What date, sir? 23rd October. Cut cake, huh?
It's done.
Cut cake also. But what's your name, sir?
44.
Who are you? Your
Purchase head here.
your name?
Keshamurthy.
Keshav Murthy. Keshav Murthy cut cake on a day that is fake. It's not his birthday. He doesn't know. Sir, Keshav Murthy, 23rd your birthday. You ask your mother, on 22nd you were alive in the stomach and you were kicking or not? You ask and tell me. Were you alive or no? You were, na? No need to ask your mother, na? When were you actually born?
9 months back.
Correct. But we are fools. We cut a cake on a day that is fake because we don't awake. We don't know that we were born 9 months before. Who said 9 months before? What were you 9 months before when you were born? You were not just one dot, you were one spark. That spark of unique life, it's called a soul. You don't mind me asking, Keshav Murthy? Sir, one day will you die?
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's your best friend in this room, sir? You have any best friend or nobody?
Yeah, I have. Michael.
Michael.
Yeah.
That's Michael.
He's in the back.
Michael. You're Michael. Come. Will Keshav Murthy saying one day he will die? He will die or one day he will not die?
He will die.
Die. 100% false. Keshav Murthy will die. But when Michael sees, if Keshav Murthy, please don't take seriously. If Michael says, Keshav Murthy inge pa, Keshav Murthy hogbitru swami, gone, correct? He passed away, but he's lying here only in the RxDX. What RxDX? Huh? RxDX, body is lying RxDX. That is not Keshav Murthy.
Soul actually is.
Keshav Murthy is gone. This is no body is. Hey, what, sir? HR? Body is here only, no, sir.
Life expires, body expires, death expires.
Body will be here only.
But soul remains immortal. Soul is immortal.
So Keshav Murthy will die, but you will not die, because people will say you passed away. Correct, sir? Who is that person who passed away? That we'll talk next session when you talk. Today, if you have to talk, I have to take another 2 hours. So cannot explain. But I want to just make you realize that we have been taught lot of lies. We have been taught lot of lies that God lives in the skies. Does God live in the skies? No. So I have written a book. God is not God. God is SIP, S-I-P. SIP means Supreme Immortal Power. Otherwise somebody says, who's your God, madam? Who you pray to? Some Murthy you pray? Krishna. Hare Krishna. Who you pray, madam? Jesus. Oh, Jesus means don't talk of Krishna, only Jesus. Who you pray, madam? Jesus. See, Jesus. Who you pray? Hanuman. Deepavali, Hanuman. Now, the moment you say God, immediately Jesus picture will come, Hanuman picture will come, Krishna picture will come, correct? Who's the real God?
Supreme soul.
Are there so many gods are there? Krishnamurti, Keshav Murthy, sorry. I got confused with Krishna. I'm calling you Krishna.
One and the same.
Keshav Murthy. How many gods are there, Keshav Murthy?
Several.
Gods are, all these are names. God is only, but if you tell, don't mind my girls, if you tell, especially if you tell the Christians, God is Hanuman and Krishna's same Jesus. Don't talk about my Jesus Christ. Don't talk about my Jesus Christ. I'll pull your tongue out. And I'm not talking of another religion where if you talk about they will burn bomb on you. I don't want to talk. What I'm trying to make you understand, all this I'm talking about is to do with the mind. All this is to do with the mind. The moment you are able to still the mind, you're able to activate the intellect. The intellect will discriminate. And the intellect can only come alive when you are in a state of consciousness. In a state of consciousness, the intellect will shine. But if there is no consciousness, then you are a slave of the mind. And then the mind is riding the horse. And the princess will fall in love with the rat. And the princess is running behind the rat. Because the rat tells her, I love you, my princess. What did she leave behind? She was the queen, the palace, the money, clothes, everything she left. Because she's chasing the rat. Who's chasing the rat? Princess. No. Mind. Mind. Mind is a rascal. Mind is a monkey. Where is the mind you cannot find, but it is the biggest enemy. So my dear friends, I have given you a small gist. I've given you a small gist. From today onwards, you should try to be the master of your mind. If you don't kill the mind will kill you. I'm giving you a knife. Every time the mind is troubling you, take the knife and put. If somebody is asking you what you're doing, no, this is just RxDX process. I'm following RxDX process. That's all you tell. Because others, they will think you have gone a little loose. They will think, why she's taking knife and she's putting like this. They say, this is RxDX process. What is that? We cannot tell. Confidential. Company policy. You put like this. Otherwise, people will think you have lost your mind. So my dear friends, mind management. If you want to manage the mind, manage your thoughts. Because if you don't manage your thoughts, if you don't make the monkey into a monk, the monkey will keep on jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. And you will lose your peace. And you will lose your happiness. And you will lose your life. Thank you.
Thank you.